The nature of decision making, character, nature, purpose, scope. The decision making is one of the a fruitful factor. So as per this decision making, every decision making is choosing the best alternative among the subject. So as per this choosing factor, choosing is not easy factor. Choosing is a systematic factor. Choosing is a scientific factor, and choosing is a behavioral factor. So that's why decision making is the action of selecting one alternative from a set of several alternatives. This दुनिया में बहुत resources. So as per that resources, as per that opportunities, so we can't select many, but we can't select one only. So as per that selection process, that is very crucial process, and that is very intellectual process. As per previous lecturer, the Mr. Dr. Bridge Garu, as per his explanation, intellectual, there are many intellectual characters. So as per that mixing of all intellectual characters, we are going to taking that in a grinding manner. We are going to taking that a unique process. We are going to selecting for the choosing purpose only. The choosing is one of the important element in decision making. And at the same time, achievements of objectives. Objectives are very important. Why? Because we are going to design the objectives, we are going to prepare the objectives, and we are going to finally, we are going to implement the objectives. We get the good results for the sake of organization, for the sake of company, for the sake of nation. So that's why that objectives are very important. As per these objectives, I will discuss later also. And as per information towards these objectives may be 5 objectives. So as per these 5 objectives, I am giving that a clue. First one is to study the problem, and to examine the problem, and to analyze the problem, and to evaluate the problem, finally to understand the problem. So as per this factor, objectives are 5 objectives. And optimum use of resources, I think resources are 5 resources. That 5 resources are 5 M's. First M, men, money, mission, material, and methods. So these 5 M's, 5 resources, we must and should use optimum according to decision making only. High efficiency, high performance. So high efficiency, high performance based on that decision making only. Innovation, creativity. So all these are very important factor according to decision making only, according to mind only, according to software only, according to hardware only. Hardware is our brain, software is our thoughts. So as per brain, as per thoughts, and as per that intellectual and intelligence factors, quotients, that 4 types of that are given by Bridges up. So very nice intelligence instruments and principles. So now motivation, one of the a beautiful factor is that motivation as per a decision making. You know that one of the Baba, the picture, that one of the Bijli is Goda, and one of the man in the picture of that slide. So very beautiful, that motivation to horse. Motivation to horse is one of the beautiful scenery. So that owner of that horse punished her, and it may be tempted to go in forest area. And Baba, that he knows everything. So as per that, he called that Goda or horse, Bijli, that a lovely word of a lovely word of motivation brings more impact on human being as well as animals also. So now growth and expansion, as per innovation, as per creativity, by the based on decision making, we obtain growth and expansion. Facing new challenges, the challenges are nothing but problems. The problems we are going to solving by that decision making only. Finally, I will show that a important and a virtual that video we are going to showing that, so how to face that problem and challenges, and encouraging initiative. Encourage is not ordinary thing, not easy to human being. So that's why, so all these factors are characteristics of and the nature of decision making. Next slide, madam. So this is one of the process factor, intelligence factor, that human being is wonderfully intelligent animal. So why? Because he thinks more. He will thinks more and more, and at the same time his dreams also more and more. So dreams are separate and intelligence also separate. But intelligence is one of that a software only. So as per this intelligence factor, we are going to design that factors. Without designing, without that, as per Albert Simon was one of the international global scientists of this decision making. I think this Albert Simon, father of decision making. So as per this intelligence, design and choice, this is one of the a equal priority principles of decision making only. So the design and choice. The choice means choose that are based on design, choose based on intelligence only. So as per intelligence, design, choice, these are the very, very important principles of decision making and implementation. So we are taking decision making, the edge of this result factor, edge of this important, what is that, a cornerstone, a important factor, that is implementation. And the implementation is result oriented only, that in implementation result oriented based on outcomes, and there is a success and failures. So based on, we are taking more intelligent ideas, intelligence thoughts, intelligence approaches, passionate and promotional factors, and all these are attitude factors and result oriented factors, knowledge factor, skill factor. So all these experience also very important impact factor on all these results of outcome, that is success and failure. Success and failure depending upon intelligence, design and choice only. So this is one of that important process of Albert Simon. Next, madam. Yes, this is the steps of decision making. First step, identify the decision. Identify the decision means indirectly identify the problem, identify the challenges. So first of all, every human being must and should identify the problem or challenge or any conflict or any hazards or any type of imbalanced system of human life. So that only leads to challenges or problems only. So I think this first is that point is that problems only. This first is that problem, and second is collect relevant information. Yes, there are many objectives to study the problem, to examine the problem, to analyze the problem, to evaluate the problem, and to understand the problem. Based on objectives, you must and should collect information. So according to that objectives, we can't do any mistakes in decision making. And the third factor, identity alternatives. Yes, we are human being, we are positive approach, we are having lot of time, a good resources, but at the same time, we are going to identify alternatives. Identify alternatives, not only identify alternatives, we identify more alternatives, we develop more alternatives. So then that problem will be comes outside. So based on alternatives on. And fourth one, real and analysis alternatives. Yes, analysis, analyze. Analyze is a very, very important instrument to, divide, to decide, and to calculate, and to comes to summarization regarding that analyze on. And fifth part is that select among alternatives. There are many more alternatives, but we are going to comes close to and worthy decision making to start in fifth level of among alternatives only. And the sixth one, implement a choice. Is as per that sixth, that a man, that a boy, and struggling towards to get choice only. So that is not easy. Choice is not easy. Choice is a struggle only. Choice is one of the war factors, warfare only. So in between mind, in between family, in between organization, in between national, and in between totally entire globe only. And the seventh factor, review and assessment. Yes, we must and should take a feedback. We must and should review our results. We must and should examine not only others' exam, we must and should follow self-examination also. So according to this self-examination, we must and should identify the results as per our organization and as per our professional factors. So that's why this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, these are the stages of decision making. Next, madam. Thank you. Yes, types of decision making. Yes, I told before that a dry webinar time, I discussed two factors are very important factors. That is individual decision making and group decision making. Individual decision making is not perfect, I think. Why? Because that every individual is what is that, a individual only, one only. So it is not perfect. So that's why individual decisions maybe we can recognize, but that individual decisions must and should share among that others that goes to group decision making. For example, our honorable Prime Minister, very excellent, extraordinary Prime Minister, but he will discuss among the cabinet ministers that the individual is that the honorable Prime Minister, and group discussion and group decision is that among the cabinet ministers. Cabinet is very important, powerful among the nationwide body. So that's why individual and as well as group decision makings are very important, very result oriented. Actually, there is no results, there is no decision making, there is no revenue generating, there is no decision making, there is no public relation, there is no decision making, there is no any another relation towards that human being, that is not a decision making. As a teacher, I prefer relation and revenue. Without relation of without a relation, we can't develop revenue. So that's why I believe that relationship, i I stand on and I believe 360 degree on revenue generation. And groups solutions to what is that the problems are typically of a higher quality than the average of the individual's solutions. Yes, that the individual is only one mind only, individual is only one heart only, but a group many minds and many hearts that touches that problem and solve the problem, and decision making is goes to perfect among compared to individual to group decision making.